Coming up on The Last Call, the playoffs are underway for high school baseball teams in Alabama. We'll show you those games and the weirdest walk-off win I've ever seen that won Auburn the region title. Plus, it was G-Day in Athens yesterday for the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll show you how they did and what the team has to say about its new offensive coordinator. That and much, much more is all on The Last Call, and it starts right now. Welcome back to The Last Call, and happy Easter. We've got a packed show for you tonight, so let's get right to it and run it back. All right, most teams held their spring scrimmages last week, but one of the few teams who waited for Easter weekend was the Georgia Bulldogs. For more on G-Day, we turn to Brendan Robertson from our sister station, WJBF.
It certainly didn't feel like the end of spring practice here in Athens. Cloudy, rainy, and temperatures in the 50s for Georgia's G-Day game here at Sanford Stadium. But that didn't stop Georgia fans from filling the place up about halfway to cheer on the red and black.
Because I'm asking myself if I'd have came out in that weather, I doubt it. So to have the crowd that we had, I was very pleased. And what's amazing to me is the dog walk. I mean, those folks are as loyal as they come because they're out there in the rain and the weather and wanting to get a handshake. It just says a lot about our fan base, our state of football here, and the love for football in the state. I mean, I can't thank the fans enough for braving some of those conditions and getting out and doing it.
I have the feeling you guys were coming no matter what.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we saw the weather was bad, but decided we were going to tough it out and come enjoy the game.
Is it just that you got to get football wherever you can find it?
Georgia football, yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't a great start for quarterback Jake Fromm, picked off on the second play of the game by defensive back Eric Stokes.
JJ slipped, and it was able for me to look at the quarterback when I really shouldn't, but he slipped, so I took a little gamble. Luckily, I'm glad the gamble paid off.
I didn't probably play as great as I wanted to play. I mean, that was nothing on them. You know, that's just a little win here, a little win there. Me, little wet balls, but it's no big deal. That's something I gotta get better at. But hey, we got the opportunity to go out and play, see what we did good, see what we did bad, and go in and fix it this summer.
But eventually, Fromm helping to lead the red team back to a 22-17 win over the black team, and to the victor go the spoils.
The bet this year for the winner, well, winners get steak and lobster, and losers eat beanie weenies.
I get steak and lobster.
Gonna be tough to watch those other guys eat steak and lobster?
Oh, it's gonna be very tough, knowing that we had the lead most of the game, then they came back at the end.
Steak and lobster is a whole lot better.
It was also the first opportunity for new offensive coordinator James Coley to shake things up for the Dogs offense.
He's always thinking about, hey, the next play, and hey, how can we set this up to do this? And he's very good with moving people around and just kind of always getting in the right place. So it's awesome to see. He's the innovator on offense. Always thinking to place up, and I love that about him, and he does a great job at it.
Oh man, I love playing for Coach Coley. He just brings an aspect of just energy. You love playing for a guy like that. He just motivates us to play. And as far as coaching, does a great job getting everybody the ball, more balanced. So I just love playing for that type of guy.
We weren't going to go out there and we want to find out what the players can execute. That's not the purpose of a spring game, to go throw everything at the kids. We want to let, especially the guys that don't have game experience, execute the call and find out what they can do.
Georgia will open the season right here at Sanford Stadium Saturday, September 7th against Murray State. You going to be ready? Reporting from Athens, Brendan Robertson, WJBF News Channel 6.
If only the Bulldog could talk. All right, Smith Station and Auburn are known as powerhouses in 7A baseball, but this year there's a different team in the mix to win the Area 4 7A title, the Central Red Devils. They swept Smith Station in 3 games last week, putting them in a position to win the region title on Wednesday with a win over Auburn. Salter Green finds some green in the outfield. Caden Parker on second thinks about going home but changes his mind and slides back safely. Green steals second, so Tigers have runners on second and third with 1 out. Ethan Fisher does his job, lofts a fly ball to left, and it's good enough to score Parker for the sac fly to put Auburn up 1-0. And believe me, runs were very hard to come by, partly because of this guy. Nick Owen, the senior, gets the strikeout to strand a runner on second to end the second. Central's defense was pretty good too. Gage Tillery with the diving stop gets up, tags second, and throws the runner out at first for the unassisted double play. But it wasn't just Central's defense putting in work. Tyler Haynes gets a strikeout here to end the top half of the fourth. He had 5 Ks in a complete game performance. Top of the seventh, still 1-0, and Haynes going to get some help from the defense. Auburn with a runner on second, trying to add to its lead, but DJ Reyes says not today. Haynes goes 7 innings, only allows 5 hits and 1 run, but Owen was just a tad better. The senior gets the ground out to end the game as Auburn wins 1-0 complete game shutout. So that means we got a winner-take-all game for the Region 4 7A championship in Auburn on Thursday. Tigers pitcher Salter Green keeps the momentum going, gets a strikeout to end the top of the second. He was eventually taken out in the fourth. He left with 2 outs and 2 on, but his replacement could not keep Central off the board. Wild pitch allows Jeremy Thorne to score the first run of the game. Bryce Davis walks to load the bases, and then DJ Reyes is going to draw a walk to score Gage Tillery. 2-0 Red Devils. Bottom of the fourth, Auburn got 1 back, and then they even it up with a bases-loaded walk of their own, 2-2. Same inning, Baylor commit Griffin Speaks going to hit a hard grounder to second. A little bobble prevents the double play and allows Caden Parker to score, giving the Tigers their first lead of the game, 3-2. Auburn adds 2 more runs in the bottom of the fourth, but with 2 on for DH Noah Butler, he smashes a 3-run shot to left, and just like that, the big fella ties this one up at 5 apiece in the 5th. But then, in the bottom of the 5th, the Tigers DH, Kimball Napier, slaps one through the infield to score Patrick McGlawn, and Auburn retakes the lead 6-5. The Tigers escape a bases-loaded situation in the 6th, so we jump to the 7th. Central has a runner on second, but there's 2 outs. The number 9 hitter, Bryce Davis, has a chance to tie the game, and he does. P.J. Ramsey scores as the ball sails over first. We're tied at 6, heading into the bottom of the 7th. Auburn now has a runner on second with 2 outs. A routine pop-up should send this one to extra innings, but oh no, miscommunication in the Central infield allows the ball to drop as Napier races home for the game-winning run, and Auburn wins the region title on the weirdest walk-off I've ever seen.
You know, you just never know what's going to happen. And I'll tell you, baseball that's what's so great about the game of baseball. You just, every day you come out here, you learn something different. You grow from it. It makes you humble. It makes you feel good. It's just a great part of life. Hopefully we'll see them again in the playoffs. I mean, our region has represented, I think, the state title 5 of the last 6 years. So let's hope one of us make it there again.
Let's hope. Looking forward to covering both teams in the playoffs next week. The playoffs were already underway for the Glenwood Gators, who were hosting Northside Methodist yesterday. Winner advances to the second round of the AISA playoffs. Landon Russell gets the start, and he was dealing. That's his 3rd strikeout through 2 innings. Knights pitcher Caleb Saul's doing pretty well, too. Only allowed 1 hit through 4 innings, but in the 5th, Anthony Torres gets hit number 2, and the Gators are in business with runners on 2nd and 3rd, and he's fired up. Knights intentionally walked Bryce Valero to load the bases for Trevor Crisco. He jumps all over this one to the gap in left center. That scores Wes Johnson and Torres, and Glenwood is on the board first, 2-0, and they wouldn't be done that inning. The next batter, Bryce Newman, he's going to keep the party going with a double of his own, almost to the same spot. Valero and Crisco come home to score in what would be the last runs of the game as Landon Russell throws 9 Ks in a complete game shutout to send Glenwood to the second round. Meanwhile, Russell County postponed their first doubleheader for Saturday. Warriors beat Stanhope Elmore 9-0 in Game 1. Logan Austin was the winning pitcher in that game, and he gets the scoring started in Game 2, 1-0 Russell County. Next batter, Tristan Dozier, and he does the same thing. RBI single, scores Jackson Hughley, and the Warriors are up 2-0. They add 3 more runs, and the leadoff man, Zach Rice, says you better make it 3 more because this one is not coming back. Home run, 3-run shot. Russell County would score 13 runs in the first inning and win Game 2 18-3 to advance to the second round. All right, more scores from the first round. Chambers Academy run-ruled Evangel Christian 14-0 in Game 1 on Friday and did it again on Saturday to advance. Meanwhile, Lynette snapped a 17-year playoff drought, but they lost 2 games to Holy Spirit to end their season. Not really fair having to play Holy Spirit on Easter weekend. Valley was in Troy for a first-round matchup with Charles Henderson. The Rams lost Game 1 9-7 and lost Game 2 12-8 to see their season come to an end. And finally, the Beauregard Hornets advanced to the second round on Thursday, beating Roboth 5-0 in Game 1 and 9-4 in Game 2. And in soccer, the Lee Scott boys take down Glenwood to win the 3A AISA State Championship. The Glenwood girls also fell short in the state title, losing 2-1 to Tuscaloosa Academy. Congrats to all three on a great season. Still to come on the last call, Chuma Okeke tore his ACL in the Sweet 16, but announced some good news over the weekend. But after the break, I'll tell you why it may not be good news for Auburn fans. Plus, the second half of the SEC baseball and softball season is upon us. We'll recap the week that was for Auburn, Georgia, and Alabama. This moment right here could have been the end of Auburn's historic run in the NCAA tournament. It's when Chuma Okeke, who already had a double-double against North Carolina in the Sweet 16, went down screaming in pain in what would be a torn ACL. Little did we know that may be the last time we see Okeke wearing an Auburn jersey, but not because of the injury. Yesterday, the sophomore announced he will be declaring for the NBA draft, joining teammate Jared Harper, who declared last week. But there is a big difference between the two. Harper declared with an agent, which means he cannot return to college, but Okeke is declaring without an agent, meaning he can return to college if there's not enough interest from NBA teams. Okeke, by the way, underwent successful ACL surgery back on April 2nd. Sticking with Auburn, we got to give a huge shout out to Darian Goborn. The freshman accomplished something no Auburn gymnast has ever done before by winning a share of the NCAA vault title. Her score of 9.95 at the Women's Gymnastics National Championship secured her the title, the first national championship in program history. And we have one more shout out to give. The #1 Auburn Tigers equestrian team beat #6 Georgia 8-7 yesterday to win the national championship for a second year in a row. With the win, the Tigers finished the season with a perfect 18-0 record, the first time any equestrian program in history has finished a full season without a loss. The title is also Auburn's 6th overall and 3rd in the last 4 years. Safe to say they got horses in the back. Let's stay with Auburn and head to the Diamond. The Tigers faced #15 Ole Miss this weekend. Auburn had not won an SEC series since the last weekend in March, but Connor Davis changes that. With the bases loaded and 2 outs in the 9th, Davis comes through with the walk-off single to give Auburn the series win over the Rebels. Over in Athens, the #6 Dogs handled Missouri in 3 games and got another solid outing from Columbus native Tony Losi. The junior started the game strong by striking out the side in the very first inning and kept it rolling from there. He went 6 innings, struck out 5, and only allowed 1 hit to improve to 7-0 on the season. And finally, Alabama had a tall task facing #5 Vanderbilt, and even though the Crimson Tide were at home, they were unable to get a win this weekend. In softball, the highest-ranked team is Alabama at #7, so we'll start there. The Tide rolled past Florida, sweeping the Gators in Gainesville this weekend. It's the second straight sweep for Alabama, which beat Georgia 3 times last weekend. They have now won 7 in a row. Speaking of the #22 Bulldogs, they had another tough test against top 10 Tennessee, and they showed out. UGA split the first 2 games, but the Vols got rocked by Georgia. Georgia topped Rocky Top 8-0 today. And finally, #14 Auburn only had 2 games this Easter weekend, but lost both to Kentucky. All right, the AAF may be over already, but football is not done. The Columbus Lions started their season last week, and this weekend they faced rival Jacksonville in a home opener at the Jungle. Highlights are on the way. The Columbus Lions have made it to the National Arena League Championship 2 years in a row. But it's a new season and very much so a new-look Lions team. They lost many familiar faces, including quarterback Mason Espinoza. But they still have this guy, Jason Gibson. He and the Lions trailed rival Jacksonville 24-18 at the half. Sharks get the ball to start the second half, and on the 3rd play of the drive, they strike again. Jonathan Bain to former Lion Jarmon Fortson for the tutty. Fortson playing in front of family because he's from the Fountain City and putting on a show. Ensuing Lions possession, Luke Collis is picked off by Cody Saul, and the Lions' struggles on offense continue. And like blood in the water, the Sharks attack on the opportunity. On 3rd and goal, they go with the fake to Deron Neal, another former Lion, and Jacksonville takes a commanding 39-18 lead. Columbus would find the end zone in the 3rd quarter. Collis hits Bones by Bagante for the score, and the Lions trail by 15 with 13 minutes left in the game. They force a turnover on downs but give the ball right back, and Jacksonville takes advantage on 4th and goal. Bain finds Neal again, and the Lions fall 48-24. They are now 0-2 on the year. All right, It remains to be seen who is going to win the Super Bowl next year, but this week we found out which team won for the best schedule reveal. Hands down, it goes to the Atlanta Falcons. The team paid homage to Game of Thrones by releasing a schedule that looks just like the intro to the very popular show on HBO. And while the Ode to Thrones plays, I'll break down some of the games that stand out. Atlanta starts the season in Minnesota against the Vikings. On October 20th, the Dirty Birds host defending NFC champion Los Angeles. 3 weeks later, Atlanta goes on the road to face their division rival New Orleans, and they get the Saints 2 weeks later for a primetime game on Thanksgiving. But by far the best part of the video, if you're a Falcons fan, is this clip right here. It shows a Ram running over a Saint and then the ref coming out of nowhere with the incomplete no penalty call. Of course, that's making fun of the Saints, who did not get this pass interference call in last year's NFC Championship game that likely would have sent the Saints to the Super Bowl instead of the Rams. Throwing shade. Look at the ref. Out of nowhere. All right, coming up, Jack Patterson joins me for the next round as we return to our roots and serve out picks of the week. The week did not start out well for the Braves, who got swept at home by the Arizona Diamondbacks. On the road in Cleveland, weather kept them from playing on Friday, which meant a doubleheader yesterday. Again, not so great. Atlanta lost Game 1 8-4 and trailed 7-0 at one point in Game 2. Dansby Swanson got 2 back in the 7th with this 2-out, 2 RBI homer to dead center, but don't forget they're still down 4 and now 2 outs in the 9th. Enter chaos. Ozzie Albies, with the bases loaded, rips one down the first base line. That brings home 2, 7-5. A Freddie Freeman bases loaded walk made it a 1-run game. And then who else but Ronald Acuna Jr. coming through with a 2 RBI double, giving Atlanta its first lead of the game. And they hold on to win and complete the 7-run comeback, scoring 5 in the 9th. And today the Braves kept that momentum going, especially Josh Donaldson. He got things started in the first inning with a home run to dead center, but he wasn't finished. The very next inning, he does it again. 2 innings, 2 home runs for the bringer of rain. The entire team brought the storm to Cleveland because they won 11-5. All right, it's time for Picks of the Week. Welcome back, everyone. I'm joined by Jack Patterson.
What's good, party people?
No roundtable this week. We're doing picks. Jack, NHL series, first round. Who's going to get to the second round? Your Predators are in trouble. Can they make it?
I'm hoping so because I'm picking them. Predators down 3-2 to Dallas in this probably the craziest playoffs we've ever seen in any of the 4 major sports in North America. The Stanley Cup playoffs have been insane this year, with both #1 seeds going down in a combined 9 games so far.
My Columbus Blue Jackets were one of them in the 8th seed that won. It's awesome. It's awesome.
There's nothing like playoff hockey, people.
And for me, I'm going to go with the Washington Capitals.
Wow.
3-2 over the Hurricanes. Pretty good series so far, but yesterday the Capitals kind of separated themselves, showing why they're the defending champion. So I'm going to take them to win, and not just win, but win the next game, so Game 6.
Got it.
Moving on to the NBA, we're picking a series team to go from the first round into the second round. Who you got?
I'm going to go with the Spurs. They've given the Denver Nuggets all they can handle and then some.
Yeah.
Series tied at 2 right now. I think the Spurs win it in 6.
Win it in 6. Okay, so
they won't win it. They won't win it if it goes to Denver for Game 7.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
All right, I think that's a pretty fair pick, and I'm going to take the easy way out. I'm going to go with the Warriors. Obviously, giving up the 31-point lead, everyone had their jokes, but I think the Warriors are kind of fed up with the Clippers at this point, especially Patrick Beverley.
Absolutely.
And to end it, we're doing a personal pick. Who you got, or what you got?
I have got the Braves. They had a really rough week last week. I will say that they will win a series this week.
They'll win a series.
They'll win a series.
And I'm going to go against that theory because I'm going to say they're going to lose a series to the Cincinnati Reds.
Oh,
they play
God.
This coming week. Right now, they're playing the Indians. They're just coming off of that series. They've got a day off on Monday, and then they've got 3 games in Cincinnati. So 7 days total in the state of Ohio.
I really hope we beat the Reds. Otherwise, he's going to be insufferable.
We'll probably have a little bit of a side bet. We'll let you know what that is.
He's going to be insufferable in the sports department.
Maybe a can of Skyline chili on the line.
No, we're not doing that. Let's get on to the other 2 that are not here. Let's get on to the other 2 that are not here right now.
You go ahead and take Rex.
All right, Rex, he is picking the Rockets to finish off the Jazz. He is taking the Preds, like me, to come back and beat the Stars. And then he's picking his Astros to win the series against the Minnesota Twins.
All right, Connor, like me, is taking the easy way with basketball. He's got the Warriors. For some reason, he picked the Thrashers in hockey.
Okay, so the Thrashers don't exist anymore. Trust me, I was a fan.
Correct.
And then the team that replaced them, the Winnipeg Jets, got eliminated 2 days ago, so I don't know what he's thinking. But then again, do we really ever know what Connor's thinking?
I don't think so. So we'll go ahead and give him the Hurricanes since I took the Capitals.
Works for me.
All right, and finally, Talladega is next week. We had an off week this week. Huge week in NASCAR, and he is taking Chase Elliott.
Boy, Talladega to pick. All right, go for it.
NASCAR is back, so that means Connor is picking NASCAR, even if he does pick the Thrashers in hockey. All right, Jack, thanks for joining us. That's it for Picks of the Week. We'll be right back after this. Female athletes from all across the Chattahoochee Valley made their way to Columbus for the 4th annual Female Athletes of the Year award ceremony. This event, put on by Sports Visions, recognizes 2 athletes from 35 schools, with some getting specialty awards, including Ansley and Ashley Whitley from Marion County and Carver Jr. Olivia Cochran, who was named the most valuable player. Coaches get recognized as well. Central girls basketball coach Carolyn Wright was honored, and so was Marion County's Fran McPherson and Carver's Anson Hunley as co-coaches of the year. All right, that'll do it for the last call. Thanks so much for watching. Same time next week. Time to lock up.